Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. Right, today we have a few things we're going to package together. Because, right, the first one we have is Godzilla vs. Kong is currently filming in Queensland. So obviously they have done some location filming in Hawaii. Production has now kicked off this week on Warner Brothers Pictures and Legendary Entertainment's Godzilla vs. Kong at Village Roadshow Studios on the Gold Coast in Australia. So we do have Adam Weingart, who is the director of You're Next, and The Guest, who is helming the project, which pits the king of the monsters against the giant ape against each other, with humanity caught in the middle. To me, I can't actually wait for this, because I've actually enjoyed Kong, Skull Island, and I also enjoyed Godzilla. Obviously, we have the new Godzilla, King of the Monsters out this year, which I'm looking forward to, and that should be a good little fun movie to watch in the theatres, especially in IMAX. So obviously we do have to say the same studio was used to film both Aquaman and Kong Skull Island, the latter being the second in a quartet of interlinked films, with Godzilla vs. Kong being the last of the group. Most of the film's production will take place there, with actors Millie Bobby Brown, Alexander Skarsgård and Isa Gonzalez will be starring. Godzilla vs. Kong opens in May of next year and will follow on from Mike Dougherty's already fully complete Godzilla King of the Monsters, which opens this May. Turning our attention now to Sony Pictures, they are currently in the middle of turning Rob Liefeld's Shrink webcomic into a movie. Well, we all know that Rob Liefeld is the co-creator of Deadpool and many other superheroes. So, with Shrink, Liefeld originally published Shrink as a short-lived webcomic in 2001. It depicts the therapy sessions between psychologist Dr. Jessica Powers and her superpowered clientele. The comics were punctuated with humorous one-liners in the vein of political cartoons or newspaper strips. That does actually sound quite interesting, a therapist to the superheroes, and it could also bring in some funny elements, and if they can bring in other superheroes that we haven't currently seen online or in movies, that'll be brilliant. The screenplay has been penned by Bad Santa writers Glenn Fishura and John Recker. These were actually the screenplay was actually wrote nearly 20 years ago, so it's just been sitting there, and Sony Pictures, they grabbed the rights when the previous owners lapsed in renewing it, so they have a potential feature franchise there, and it wouldn't surprise me if Rob Liefeld throws in a few other of his creator-owned characters into the mix for Sony to make a universe. Going from Shrink over to the Kingsman prequel, where they have cast new members of the team. We have Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Gemma Arterton and Tom Hollander. Right, so these three people, they have and more have joined the cast of Kingsman: The Great Game, Matthew Vaughn's prequel to Kingsman. While Taron Egerton starred in the first two Kingsman films, the third entry in this franchise is not going to star him, and instead is going back to an older period for the secret organisation. It has been advised that the film will take place roughly in World War I, and Vaughn has big plans for the Kingsman franchise. So, I'm just going to go here, say it's a World War I set story that follows a new lead character by the name of Conrad, a young son of a British duke, played by Harris Dickinson. At the time of his casting, it was also revealed that Ralph Fiennes joined the movie, and there has been plenty of casting news since then too. We have Daniel Bruhl, and we also have Charles Dance, who are enrolling in the ensemble. So, regarding some information about the film from Daily Mail of all places, it appears Kingsman: The Great Game has several brand new cast members. Obviously, we have Aaron Taylor-Johnson is reuniting with Kick-Ass director for the prequel film in an undisclosed role. He has shared in some follow-up tweets that Gemma Arterton, Tom Hollander, Djimon Hounsou, which I love him, he is a fantastic actor, loved him in Blood Diamond, and Alison Steadman have all joined the cast. Arterton will play the nanny of Conrad, while Hollander will play three different members of Queen Victoria's family tree. That sounds quite good actually, because if he's playing 3 different characters, then obviously they are going to be showing different periods of time throughout the Kingsman legacy. Right, so we have a quick look and see what's going on. And so it's right. It's what it says here that it's set for a November 2019 release date for this year. Right, filming is underway, but it would be interesting to see if they get it out in time for November of this year. If they can do that, hats off to Matthew Vaughn, because that would be some feat. And last but not least, for this one little bit of news, Chris Pratt has come out and confirmed that James Gunn's script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is being used. So, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been on a serious roll recently in Phase 3, as every single box or blockbuster has been a box office and critical success. While the current set of films has largely gone off without a hitch, obviously, Vol 3 is the only one viral blemish, which was the departure of James Gunn, which, after an offensive tweet from a decade ago resurfaced this past July, Gunn was promptly fired by Disney. That whole thing there it's just people looking for an argument this day and age. For some unknown reason, they just attack James Gunn because of his political thoughts, and when you do that, it shouldn't really become necessary. You know, making movies and political advice is completely different. So Chris Pratt has said that he obviously has read it, and Pratt has recently revealed, yeah, I have read it. It's off the chain. It's so good. It's so good. Considering how much the Guardians franchise was born from James Gunn's perspective, Disney has moved to can the director, writer, producer seemingly put the property in jeopardy. How exactly could Guardians 3 function without his visionary leader? Well, so as I say, the script is being confirmed for the blockbuster movie, and that's only a good news in my eyes. Obviously, we know James Gunn has gone off now to be done the Suicide Squad, which would be interesting, because if he can bring the dynamic of Guardians of the Galaxy over to DC and put him in for a bunch of killers, you got my money straight away. Midnight showings, I'll be there. But I say, it does sound of countless Marvel fans jumping for joy with Chris Pratt saying this. While James Gunn won't be hired back to direct the upcoming Guardians 3-quel, it does appear that Marvel Studios is indeed using his script, and it will be preserving his original vision for the process, which is brilliant. So Chris Pratt, he did comment to the MTV News. He did answer one of the biggest questions surrounding Guardians of the Galaxy 3 after Gunn was fired from the franchise. The Guardians cast, they did write a letter in solidarity with the director. Drax actor Dave Bautista was the more irate about the departure, and obviously he went through a big social media rant, and he was saying he wouldn't participate in Guardians 3 if Gunn's original draft wasn't used, and now it looks like the campaign has succeeded, and the 3-quel will use the script to wrap up the trilogy of blockbusters. Since Marvel hasn't released its plans for Phase 4 yet, ahead of Avengers Endgame, which will probably, obviously, it would bring some secrets that they want to keep for Avengers out into the open, but we already know that we got Spider-Man Far From Home opening up 2 months after Avengers. But we know Disney, Disney and Marvel, they want to make another Doctor Strange, a Black Panther 2. These are the people who died, I should say, in quotation marks. It was originally set to be one of the first arrivals after Endgame, presumably hitting theatres a few months after Spider-Man Far From Home. But shortly after Disney cut ties with James Gunn, they say the movie has been put on indefinite hold. As far as we know, there's no new date set, and the director hasn't even been found to replace Gunn yet. So it'll be interesting who they actually choose for that. So we're going to leave it by there for now, and say thank you for tuning to the channel. If you like what you hear or see, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.